probably all been in a spot to apply for different awards, and some of them are honestly kind of ridiculous. But none of the awards that I have received ever have mattered as much as the one when we were recognized as the best place to work by my team. Well, gosh, our guest today has been recognized as the best place to work in his community for every year he has been running his business. Yi Yang is the president of Summit Engineering. They are a leading provider of consulting engineering services for winery projects and other things throughout California. And he has an amazing story to tell. Yi Yang, welcome to How I Turned the Corner.
Well, thank you, Kendra. Thank you for having me.
So just give us a little bit of the background, because I know with your organization, you kind of grew up in that organization and then became the president during a really difficult time. And can you just share sort of the backstory of how you got into Summit Engineering for us?
Yes, of course. I grew up I was born in China, grew up, teenagers. And then I came to this country when I was 14. And I graduated from college in Cleveland, Ohio. And became an engineer. In 2001, I joined Summit Engineering 22 years ago.
Wow.
As just an entry-level project engineer. And I thought, wow, what a place to design wineries. That never heard of that, but fantastic place to work. I later on found out, and it stayed until now. And so just working through working with the clients, with our people, and then just grew into this role over time. I have always felt like I'm just happen to, be the right place, the right time. I just feel lucky my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly through working through projects and designing and helping clients, learn a lot about how to, how to treat our clients, treat our people over the years. And then I thought, I could probably do something beyond just engineering. And because I just love the people here. So
that's great. So when did you take over as the president?
It was 2008. So the transition happened in 2018.
Okay.
The outgoing president stayed on for almost a year, just to handing things off. But the official sort of a role change was 2018.
Okay. So then you now have this organization that's honestly been recognized as the best place to work for many years before you even were the president. And You've carried that on through. But I mean, you started leading during not the easiest time to become a leader.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I remember that day, this may be different in another part of the country, but in Northern California, I think it was March 18th, 2020, was the shelter in place day where I've never heard such thing before. And immediately I went to sort of lockdown mode and remote working. And that was a huge challenge. And I just, essentially moved into this role shortly before. And luckily we have some strong IT support to get us working remotely next day. And sure, the work continues, but what about the people? And I did, worry a lot about how we're going to stay strong together as a team, the culture, what's there even left of culture if you don't even see each other? So during that time, I think a week or two after, I decided that I will make a weekly video of me just speaking for a couple of minutes. And thinking back now, I felt like, wow, of course you can go see people, but at the time, people were afraid to go outside the house, if you recall, and at least this part of the country. And so I made a weekly video, just kind of let people see me, hear me, and talk about, what's going on with the business, with our projects, our clients. And I did that for, until we come back to the office, a year or so later, once a week. I skipped a few, but for the most part. And I thought that was very useful.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's a really good idea. And so can you tell us a little bit about what were some of the biggest challenges through that period that you experienced? And I think we all as leaders have what I sort of call head trash, where we sort of go into a situation thinking like, I don't know how to do this, and am I even the right leader to do this? And then we all figure it out basically. Yeah. But what happened for you during that period, as especially such a kind of newer leader in the organization?
Yeah, the part at the beginning I struggled with sort of the business end of things where, I had to deal with PPP loans and, all sort of HR related, regulations that changes every day about whether it's testing policies or stay home, work from home policies and remote working policies. All that stuff is new to me. And one of the thing that was helpful that I had the peer group, and part of the reason why I came onto the show and then the Visage group, that everybody in my group dealing with the exact same thing, and we all help each other figure it out. So that was probably a huge part of that process, getting some peer support. Certainly, recommend any people in this position to have peer group if you don't already have one.
Yeah.
We share how we handle remote working issues, how to handle all sorts of leave, whether local or federal government, leave, and also sort of business operations. And once I kind of felt comfortable with that, the thing that got me worried is that, well, are we going to ever see each other again? Of course, thinking back now, that's like kind of silly. But at the time, who knows how long it's going to last? And what about the office? Are we going to go back to the office? Are we going to be at home? Are people happy? Are they healthy? Are they mentally healthy, physically? So I've encouraged people to take a walk, during the day, wherever they live, and don't sit, in your bedroom all day, and get outside to the extent possible. And we try to have some outdoor gathering at the parks when those kind of gatherings begin to be permitted in here in Sonoma County. And it was weird. We sit 6 feet apart from each other in a park, and it was a bizarre moment. Thinking back now, it felt like, wow, what a difference. But we really tried to hang on to each other. And then I made a few visit during that time. Actually, I thought it was interesting. I drove around to every employee's house. I gave them a heads up, of course, and then me and my wife delivered some potted plants at one time. It was a succulent plant, I remember, because I felt it will never die. And then stand by the front door and to say hello.
That's great.
And trying to stay in touch, in that
Yeah.
way.
So now fast forward, right? Now we're through all of that. What are some of the things that you've seen change or stay the same in your culture?
Yeah, the work from home notion has certainly taken root. I think we've all seen that, and it's difficult to take it back. And
Right.
I don't think we will ever do that. I mean, it's foreseeable future that the desire to work from home will stay with us, especially with the younger generation. They feel like this can do the work, so they can do the work anywhere.
Hmm.
And so what stayed the same is that we continue to have a work from home policy and allow people to do that. Because over the pandemic, they build these sort of life habits, routine around work from home, and it's hard to change. And so we allow people to work from home, during the week, and then and this sort of idea of talking to each other on screen, just gosh, think about 3 years ago, talking to each other on Zoom. It's like, why would I do that? I'll just drive over and talk to you.
Right.
But now it's just like, yeah, let's get on a call and solve some problem. That actually helped to get things done quicker to some extent. Although I have my opinion about having Zoom meetings all day.
I think we all do. We get a little of
Yeah,
that Zoom fatigue
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. And the things that probably certainly change our culture is just that it's difficult to now say, hey, let's have a all staff meeting to let's say have a happy hour, just part of a culture, and then that happens the day that where some people work from home. They try choose not to. Well, let's just say that it's hard to get people together
Hmm.
these days for some fun time if happen to be a work from home day for somebody.
Hmm. Yeah, we've figured it out a little bit. My team's a little bit smaller than yours, but we've always had a really flexible environment. And so when COVID hit, it wasn't really that impactful for us, other than we used to get together every Thursday morning for our team meeting. We'd be
Right.
face to face, but that was really the only time that we were all in office. And so that, of course, just changed to Zoom. But now what we do, which has felt really good, is we are still, really flexible, and we come together once a month. Once a month, we have a face-to-face team meeting where we make it more deliberately also like a team building activity
Hmm.
if we and then potentially a happy hour or dinner that night. So it's pretty scheduled. It's not ad
Mm.
hoc or just,
Hmm.
random, but it feels really good to all of us. Like it's
Yeah.
worked really well and we have
Good.
really strong culture
Yeah.
still with
It
that.
just, there used to be the time where after work, hey, let's go, let's stop by this place, and then nowadays you're right, it's had to be scheduled.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we try.
hmm So this last year, you just recently were recognized again in 2023 here as the best place to work. What were what were some of the comments or some of the things that surprised you in the report that came out?
Yeah. Yeah, there are good and bad. I'll be honest with you. So we actually use that data, yeah, as an important part of our management tool. Or we look at the surveys, anonymous survey. There's numeric results, and there's just anonymous comments. We've been focused on communications in the past several years because even though we win the award, but the relatively lower score was on the communication part from a few years ago because related to letting the staff know the direction of the business or communicating clearly to the staff on what was expected. We tried really hard to do that, and that has improved over the year, which was really great. We have all staff meeting updates on strategic plans, have regular check-ins, and then one thing that never really quite surprises me, but perhaps I'm getting used to, is that people love the work we do. They're so proud of the project we designed and the type of project we're associated with. And that's always been something I say, hey, no matter what we do, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing in terms of engineering, and don't change that because that's why people came.
hmm
Um, Last year, one thing that's I wouldn't call it a surprise, but it's eye opening, is that the survey added a mental health category, and it was not very good. I'll be honest with you. Winning, having received the award is one thing, but also knowing that there are definitely a lot of I won't say hidden, but now known kind of a mental stress issues in among the staff. Whether to do with a workload or maybe it's a lingering of the pandemic, maybe just personal. That's one thing I'm trying to focus on in 2024 is how to, honestly, to put it simply, how to have some fun.
So true. Gosh, I mean, when people have fun, it can seem like such a, I think, a time suck, right? A lot of
Yeah,
CEOs, I think, say like, oh, why do we need to do that? These people are getting paid, and we're not going to use our work time to
yeah,
do something fun. But I think it's a huge investment when you put some fun into the day to day, because
yeah,
I mean, all work has some tediousness to it,
right.
but when you're having fun, it makes it not feel so tedious.
Yeah, yeah. We have, we're trying to. This morning, I just had a email with our controller. I said, well, we're going to double our fund committee budget. We have a fund committee.
Okay.
They have a budget every year and come up with events. We do, like, whether it's be simple as bowling, go see a hockey game, a baseball game, go camping, whatever. And then the company pays for the expense, allows the employee to enjoy fun time outside of work. And then so, well, you know what, we're going to double down on that this year, and we're going to have more fun.
Huh. I
So
love that.
yeah.
Yeah. So what are things you do internally, just in
Yeah.
on site there for fun?
Yeah, yeah, we have a monthly, being in a winery business, we kind of put it the word. We have a monthly wine down.
Hmm.
It's I believe it's the last Thursday of every month, and it starts at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. Everybody just stop working, and we get together and have some beverages, some snack, and then each month we'll have somebody, a staff or member of the team, give a presentation about anything that they like to do, appropriate stuff. So most of them are like they're talk about our vacations, talk about our hobbies, whatever subject, their culture. We have some really good ones where we have one of our staff taught us how to speak Arabic, and he's from Jordan, and it was a lot of fun. So we do that every month to bring people together in our lounge. We have a lounge in our office where just sit around and chat and get to know each other even more. Because when you sit in your desk and the people sitting across the other side of the office, you don't probably talk to them all day, but So that's one thing we do. Our monthly wind down is always popular, and then there's always somebody. It's funny that have never had a month where nobody's presenting. There's always somebody either volunteer or just being encouraged by their peers. Hey, you should talk about your XYZ. So that's a monthly thing, and
That's
we
awesome.
we do some little office stuff, right? That wind down transfer to many things in office. We'll do like Oktoberfest, or we'll do some. We did an office Olympic the other day. It's funny stuff where you push some, see who can roll the chair fastest or whatever. But have some fun.
Hmm. Yeah, none of that really costs any money. I mean, maybe
Right.
the wind down you're going to cover a little bit for wine
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah,
but
some wine, some snack. That's not. It's not. I think it's what made it actually a little bit. Unfortunately, there's a pandemic that led. There are a few that will work from home that day, so we try to remote them in, but it's difficult because then they're just watching you having fun,
mhm,
and it's difficult to interact. So we're
mhm.
still trying to figure out the best to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, our recommendation when we work with companies who are trying to navigate this sort of hybrid environment is we recommend that you create core hours and then flexible hours. And like your core hours could be that everyone needs to be there on site for that wind down or that day of wind down.
Mm.
And it's just, I mean, obviously there's going to be exceptions. It's not going to have to ever be 100% because there will
Yeah,
always be things that come up. But you just highly encourage that so
yeah,
that people feel like, oh yeah, I can't really schedule that work from home day because it's the wind down day.
yeah,
And we're going to be in office that day and it's going to be fun. We're going to
yeah,
connect and have some meetings
yeah,
and I mean, like that would be reasonable as a
yeah,
core hour, right?
yeah,
Or a core day
yeah,
of the month.
yeah,
Our core day is Thursday morning. That's the
yeah,
only time I require everyone to be
yeah.
present at our team meetings. And then, like I said earlier, once a month we come together and do a longer thing, and everybody commits to it because it's so
Mhm.
fun. We have
Right.
a great time together, and
Yeah.
we get to know each other and build community together.
Yeah,
So
and they
nobody
do, but
ignores
we
it.
have we have an employee who permanent working remote, like way out of state. So
Uh,
that's what I meant.
yeah,
He can't be here. So, but yeah,
that is
oh,
fantastic.
it's all right. It's but 99% of the time is it's fine.
That's really cool.
So,
And then, in addition to all this, can you talk about how this has impacted some of your customers? I mean, when you have a great team that loves what they do, talk about some of the awards you've even received just from recognition in the marketplace.
well, one thing, I'm trying to think about awards. There are every industry has its own award system, right? In the engineering business we do too, and then I'm probably not going to say this right, but there are various sort of design awards we have received over the years, and those are based on sort of design merit. One thing I actually um, like the most is there's a local chapter of an engineering organization that have design award every year, and every year I submit a project in that category. It has to do with pro bono work.
Hmm.
uh, we find one every year to whether it's giving back to the community or is a nonprofit organization. We would we work for them on some engineering project, and we identify it as a good cause, and then we do pro bono,
Oh,
and we got a few awards for doing that because they're just really important to the community, and the fact that we're supporting that, and especially for some of the nonprofit, and those are great. And so I think going back to your question, I always tell everybody here that people came to us not because of what we do, but because of who we are. Um, Engineers are all over the place, but we are unique,
mhm.
and we want to work with the clients who have shared values. And I have a lot of colleagues outside of we work with like architects and contractors. We have the theme is having fun. You got to have fun on a project. If you're not having fun, I mean, when I say fun, it's not just like the sort of the consumption of funny stuff, but you got to enjoy it. The work, and I think that translates. I mean, everybody, all the team we work with, they all like what they do, and I think that's important.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes customers want to keep working with you and gives you a
Yeah.
great, reputation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what's happening then in 2024. I noticed that you have a fair number of positions open right now, which
Yeah.
probably is a sign of growth, which is really exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Recruiting has in engineering. I'm sure the same in a lot of professional service business. That and recruiting has been just tough. I'll be honest. Job market is what it is. Difficult to find engineers. There's not enough of them around here. So we continue to recruit, engineers from any source we can find them. But so recruiting is a top topic this year. But I also, we're actually having our offsite strategic planning meeting next week, and one of the main topic will also be mental health. How do we introduce some more fun to our workplace, and then really, yes, there are definitely stressful times. There are deadlines to make, project to get, to complete, but we got to be better at doing that kind of, planning to not sort of, have people just burn out in the office. So that's really important for us, and I think those are the two main things we're going to focus on this year.
That's great. And so then from a project's perspective too, are you seeing the growth in the market as well, and that there's still a high demand for the work that you provide?
Yes. As from what I can tell, yes, the demand for our services, yes, it continue to remain strong. The Our growth, fortunately or unfortunately, it gets limited by our ability to recruit. We have more project than we can handle. I have project that I couldn't get to because I don't have enough people. So that's a good sign, I suppose. A good problem to have, but yeah, at the same time, is you gotta, we don't want to disappoint any clients we have, but I think if I have the right people in the right place, the growth will happen.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel like is inhibiting the recruiting? Like, I mean, there is a shortage for sure, but with an environment like what you create, I would think that you have a list of people who want to come work for you.
I would think so too, but I think one of the challenge, I actually have this conversation with other peers in the area last year about this, is that where we are in Sonoma County, in Bay Area in general, the cost of living is high. It's difficult to attract people from out of the area when they see, what a median price of houses in San Francisco or north of it, and our business model is that such that the value of engineering services, there's a limit to that. There's only how much you can pay somebody to do the work before it become not a viable business. So we do a salary survey every year, or maybe every other year. We should do every year now to make sure that we're competitive on that with our pay, with our comp package. I think we have a great benefit package. At least that's me saying it, but I think we do. In fact, I spoke to our benefit broker, and they say, yeah, we have some of the best ones in the area. But I think the cost of living has been a challenging in our particular area to a lot of business to attract talents from outside the area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the remote employees you have, like what are the roles that they're doing? Are they on the engineering team?
Yeah, they're doing design work remotely, and which they can. In our business, there is a need for being on site to look at the construction progress. So that needs to be a team effort. Somebody has to do it for you when you're working remote. But there's certainly a role for that. So it's funny you mentioned that. Through the pandemic, even after that, as many business leaders will say, that there's the need for coming back to the office, right? Especially in our line of work, where creative work or design work, the team collaboration is really important. Is much, at least maybe I'm old school, but standing in front of a whiteboard and sketching out an engineering detail, it's much more satisfying than trying to do it on Zoom. And maybe more effective. But then again, I maybe that's not so true these days. But my point is that we had to, me and others in the office, we had to resisting this idea of having a full-time remote, because how's that going to work out for us? I assume many of the business leaders we talked to share similar experiences. But given where we're at today in terms of available talents, we just have to adjust our thinking now. We have come around to believe that, well, to sustain the growth we want, or to maintain the sort of to provide an opportunity for the people here to grow, right? We may have to accept the fact and come up with ways to make this full-time remote working a reality.
Mhm.
Maybe a lot of companies already figures out, but we are, getting there.
Yeah, well, I think it is probably good to just stay really flexible with it because
Uh,
I don't think there is a perfect answer, but I do think it's good to play with it and then do the math with it too. I mean, for us, when COVID hit, we eventually ended up just letting go of the office space, which we still use like a WeWork type place. It's just a
mhm.
local thing, but I mean, when I look at the my line item for rent, it's now just kind of travel.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
from a
yeah,
budgetary perspective, it was
yeah,
much cheaper to do, fly people in or have everybody come together once a
yeah,
quarter than it is to not have the staff.
yeah,
So sometimes it's also a matter of kind of doing that math and that calculation. Like, what would it look like if you did have remote workers that you flew in once or
hmm
twice a month
hmm
versus not being able to grow?
That's right. I'm facing that challenge today.
Mhm.
That's definitely the truth.
Yeah.
So
So, but there, and then there is the additional challenge of then figuring out how to integrate them into the culture. But
yeah,
I don't think it's an insurmountable obstacle. You
right.
can do it. It just takes more time, energy, and focus than what you've probably been doing when everybody's
Yeah,
just, able to be there
yeah.
on the site.
And I'm still learning. I'm always have an open mind, willing to learn new ideas. Right. I not having to been experience, been through this before, but like I said, I'm starting to see that how to integrate more of a full time remote, staff. I think is doable.
hmm Yeah. Well, I think it's great. And I hope it continues to support you and help you get that coveted award again next year for
Oh,
2024
thank
for
you.
the best
Yeah,
place to work.
yeah, yeah. That's our goal. That's our goal every year.
Yeah. I think it's a very good, lofty goal and probably also a great place to end our conversation today.
Thank
So,
you.
Yi Yang, thank you so much for joining me today on how I turned the corner.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kendra.